The New York Knicks officially are contenders in the NBA for 2024 and 2025. They picked up some amazing pieces. They've been working hard to get here, and it's very interesting. Today, we're going to dive into why I think this team has what it takes. And on top of that, I do believe that this is a longevity move. It's not going to be just one and done year of some decent basketball. Before we get started, I want to say I am actually a hardcore Knicks fan. And I don't want to dive into my history with the Knicks because it hasn't been the best, but I want to just kind of give you guys a summary just in case you don't know anything about New York basketball. In the 90s, when I first started really watching, they were phenomenal. Very physical team. They made their run. 1999, they were in the finals, lost to the Spurs. And right after that, it just went downhill and it got really bad. Then came Carmelo Anthony, and the team didn't have much other than Carmelo because they traded like 8 players or more from their roster. So they ended up building with mid-level exceptions and veteran minimums. They built some teams to contend, but even that didn't feel like it was enough because Carmelo didn't have anybody in their prime outside of Amari, who was injured. And so basically the Knicks fell short, unfortunately, which leads us to the current age and day. And we're not going to stick to the past too much, but I wanted to start with that because I've been suffering from not seeing my team even make the playoffs sometimes. Well, a lot of times, to be honest, within the last 20 plus years. And now I'm very proud and happy to say that they're not only making the playoffs, but they put together a team of young guys who are very capable of keeping them in the playoffs for the foreseeable future. I just want to note that none of this is meant to be a fanboy thing. Like if I just believe that everybody is going to win and we're never going to lose and that we're a perfect team. There's plenty questions and concerns about the NBA, or not the NBA, but the Knicks this year on how good they could be or how good are they. So just take that into consideration before I start stating what I feel. And to tell you the truth, what I feel is very straightforward. I do believe that Leon Rose has put together a storyline. This is not about picking up whatever best player and hoping that it works out. I feel like he's put pieces of a puzzle together that really help the chances for the Knicks to be sustainable. And so he's picked up a underrated point guard who's become one of the best players in the NBA, easily, Jalen Brunson. That's without a question. We've seen his performance in the last 2 years just really dominate the game in a special way. Then, of course, he has his best friend, which isn't a big deal, but his best friend's actually a very good glue guy to keep the team together. Then they pick up the cat, aka Karl Anthony Towns, who's the best big man shooter, not only in the NBA, but probably in history with the stats that he puts up. And he can get in the paint and score as well. And the reason why this is important is because Jalen Brunson dominates in the mid-range, floaters, nice little easy buckets around the rim. And if you can get a pick and roll with Cat the way we've seen in the preseason, he's going to be pretty unstoppable. And then on top of that, he can kick it out to Cat if he gets double teamed. So that synergy is well put together. The truth is, Jalen Brunson is not who you say, oh, I need to start a dynasty with. But he really is a dynasty type of player, at least in my opinion, because of his mindset and his effort and his hard work and dedication. He's a hard-nosed guy. He's somebody you want on your team. But the fact that he's been able to perform at the level that he has automatically placed him in the winner circle, in my view. And then you have Karl Anthony Towns, who is also underrated and never been put at as the best big in the NBA. And I do believe that that chip on their shoulder, they feel it more than ever now that they're in New York in the limelight. And people tend to forget that, like, the underdogs tend to come back with a vengeance. And so I personally believe that that dynamic duo of two stars who are really capable of being great will end up taking over the NBA to a certain extent. And I just want to add that, injuries, it's the elephant in the room for any team. So let's not get into that topic. But if we are, then let's do it. Let's say somebody gets injured, one of those two guys that are the stars. Well, Mikal Bridges happens to be somebody who was the first option in the Knicks. I'm sorry, in the Nets. He was the first option to score, and he did well. He averaged about 20 or something like that. And him being able to do numbers, he's able to come into this team as a third option and still offer a lot. So I do believe that we're going to see something special from him from time to time. 40 points, just spotting up, taking shots, and then creating his own shots, having those crazy games because his legs are going to be under him, because he's going to mostly be off ball, letting Jalen Brunson and Cat do their job. And so I do think he's going to be phenomenal, and it's going to be a fun year to see. And so those three are superstar capable players. Will they end up becoming, the dynamic duo, the trio, the big three? That is a question for every team. Every team that hasn't proven it already. You can't prove something if you don't go for it. So I would just hope everybody stays healthy. But either way, Mikal Bridges is their backup. And to be honest with you guys, there's a player on the Knicks that I do believe can be a superstar. I feel like he has amazing defense. He kind of reminds me of Michael Jordan defensively to a certain extent. And then offensively, he reminds me of Kawhi Leonard. His name happens to be OG Anunoby. We've seen his game. We've seen how strong he is. He's capable of knocking down open shots, creating his own plays, getting to the basket. He's one of those solid players that people sleep on, and I do believe he's going to be dynamic. Top that off, we do have a really solid bench. The two guards that I want to kind of point out who are going to be our six-mans is Mikal Bridges. Miles McBride, aka Deuce, and Cam Payne. Right, Cam Payne most likely will be the starter, but Deuce is just as good. I'm sorry, he's not going to be a starter. He's going to be coming off the bench, key player. But Deuce is just as good as him. They both can play off of each other and really be dynamic. And then they have the rookie Tyler Kolek, who is a phenomenal playmaker, and he's a scorer. He can get buckets. So he's going to be dominant, and that's their guard setup right now that I feel like they're going to be pretty much solid with. And so I'm really excited about that. Now, as far as their big men, there is some questions, and Precious Achiuwa and Mitchell Robinson are both amazing, but that's all we have as far as like really good bigs that can really help. Josh Hart is one of the best wing players, but I don't consider him a power forward. But the NBA does run small ball, so he can play that position. Just a lot of work. But we'll see. I think the Knicks are not done with their trades. I think they're going to pick up one more piece. They're going to move a couple pieces and get another solid bench player and then just move forward from there. But I do want to kind of stress out all of this because they're basically a team that's built to beat the Celtics, who are the best team in the East because they won the championship, but also they're back and they have even more experience with the Olympics. 3 of their players made it to the Olympics and won a gold medal. So you watch all that and you think, oh no, this is going to be outrageous in a good way. And I do believe that the main point of this video, which I'm going to get into now, is the fact that the Knicks have Tibbs, who's very close with Karl Anthony Towns. He actually coached him in his younger years, 10 years ago or 9 years ago. And they've been friends for a while. So I feel like Cat is going to play harder for him. They have good communication. Same thing with Jalen Brunson having Josh Hart and Bridges that they're very cool with. They have a humble, hard-working mentality in a lot of these players. A lot of these players are getting contracts that you might think they don't deserve. But the truth is, Jalen Brunson deserves more. Same thing with Karl Anthony Towns. And so these guys are all hungry to prove that they're some of the best. And they really want to compete. And they have that chance. Now, the truth is, yes, the light is very bright in New York City. I know because I've been there. It's a big stage. But question about, can they make it? Because once they finish the season, and they'll be second best at worst, in my opinion, as long as there's not a lot of injuries, they can be the second best team in the East, and then face against the Celtics in the semifinals, and then we'll see where that goes. But I do believe they have what it takes to beat the Celtics as well. And I've never felt like this about a Knicks team in a long time, but I can predict in this video that they will be in the finals. Now the question is, are they going to win a championship? Who are they facing in the West? Is it going to be the Thunder, who's inexperienced? And then it's going to be a pretty even team. Whoever faces, the Thunder will be able to beat them because of experience. Now on the opposite side, if it's a seasoned team that's very capable, then now you have to think twice about what you're doing and who you're going up against. If the Denver Nuggets make it, Dallas makes it to the finals, these guys have experience. It's going to be very difficult to deal with. So, I'm not going to worry about the West. I think the East is takeable for the Knicks, and I'm just excited. I've suffered a long time as a Knicks fan, and I'm finally at the point now where I'm confident that they can make it. So, just like Jalen Brunson right here, I'm emotional, hoping for the best, knowing that we have a chance. And you don't have to agree, and you can leave in the comments why you don't think they can, and please share. Let's talk about it, because I will be making more videos about the Knicks throughout the year, but I do have a strong belief in them because of everything I've seen and what I know they're capable of. So it's an exciting time. Please share your thoughts, and let's get into more Knicks basketball. I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Oh, by the way, yeah, I got a video, 30 things to watch about the season. Not talking about the Knicks, all right? We saved all that for this video. Go check that out. See you on the next one. Peace.